Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or you've been building them for years. There's something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level.
You're muted.
I sure am. My name is Nick Dooley. Yay! Internet and technical issues. So Dr. Scary Guy says is this the first ever late show? No, I think we're definitely more on time than most. But my name is Nick Dooley. Tonight I am joined by Garth Hofer.
Hi, how we doing?
Yes. And we have the director of propaganda, Joe. How are we doing tonight?
Good evening, friends. I'm doing good.
Awesome. And then also with us, we have our very special guest, who I hope is not locked up due to internet issues, and it might just be mine. We have Yehuda Remer, the Pew Pew Jew.
I think he's frozen.
I think he's locked up too.
He might be frozen. I'm sure he'll... Oh,
he's back, but he's muted.
He's muted,
but he's muted.
back.
Still muted.
You're muted. You have to click your mute. There you go.
There we go. I was just making funny faces at you because I thought that was more, professional.
Yes, it is 100%, especially for our show, and that works out the best. We're gonna have people saying yes, good guest tonight. So,
I mean, anything's better than the three of us talking about who knows what.
No one wants to hear us talk about competition for the 8th week in a row.
Yes. So I know they're talking a little bit about news in the chat here, and we will get into that as we go on because it is always an interesting time to be alive. But before we get into that, because I know it's going to lead into a lot of our main topic tonight. Guys, did you do anything fun with guns this week? Joe?
I didn't get out and shoot. I've been in the garage since it's been nicer, warmer out, shooting with the Ace. I did get some parts ordered for my Mark IV build for my Steel Challenge 22 gun. Got some parts coming for that. Got the optic mounted on it. I finally have a rifle shipping. Should be here on Wednesday. That I've been waiting for a while. And then started ordering parts for that other build that I'm gonna be working on. I think it's gonna be it's gonna be an extended project, just instead of buying it all at once, buying parts per paycheck type thing to just have, because I need ammo money, I need money for entry fees and all that stuff coming up here as summer starts. So but I think that's gonna be a fun build once I get it done and once it gets running.
Yeah. Garth, did you do anything fun?
Also, like Joe, no range time, but I've been working in my gun room doing a lot of optic swapping. Ordered a whole bunch of parts online today, so excited about that. Ordered the Matador compensator for my PCC. So, and then I ordered the Frytech magnetic buffer tube, so I'm going to throw that on the PCC as well and try to dress that up. Probably need to come down and do some paperwork with you someday so I can actually have an SBR. But yeah, so
you could just do that on your own at home.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yes, you don't need me.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's why I was waiting.
No, you do that on your own. You just fill out your Form 1.
We're not even 5 minutes in and we taught somebody something.
You taught me something today. All right, well, I'll do that after the show then. Dang. All right, fine.
Fine, I didn't want your help anyway.
Yeah, I didn't want your help. Screw you.
Yep. Yehuda, did you get out and do anything fun?
So I got the new chassis, I think it's called the MX1 from Meta Tactical, and they sent it to me, and I built it this week, and I'm actually going out tomorrow with the director of operations for the company that I work for, and he's a 21-year Army Ranger, so we're gonna go have some fun with it and do some training.
Nice. So that'll be a lot of fun then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually did go out and shoot. Well, I spent all weekend off doing training, and was just doing instructing, and I got to spend 2 days wrist deep in, or well, probably one full day because it was a half day of each, wrist deep in 50 cals teaching people the finer parts of crew serve weaponry. So I was in my happiest of places.
I do not envy you teaching that bunch of idiots anything.
You know, they for whatever reason they seem to
Because there's
listen.
been enough turnover where they're like interested. Like it's the younger ones that are like, "Ooh, I get to play with the 50 cal."
Exactly. It's great. It's a lot of fun. They're all excited.
They're like, "Who's
And
this guy? Is he the smartest guy in the world?" No.
No, I am not. But then last night I came home. I know I put I have a mediator 2 from Gideon Arms that I put on a MP 2.0 metal, and I went out and just ran a couple megs through that. And then while I was out there, I had to grab my M forgery and just let a mag rip because this is America. And I needed something to cheer me up. So I did that because nothing puts a smile on your face like turning money into loud noises in a fast pace.
Yeah. It's fair.
And then I got my best score yet on a dope drill, and I was kind of surprised at the firearm I used for it, that it was that much better than all the rest. So I was quite pleased with that. It's my 11.5-inch front sight post gun with a Midwest Industries rail. So it's got the extended M-lock rail and running an OG Yankee Hill turbo on it, 11.5-inch gun. But I did an upgrade to that a while ago, and it was the first time I really had a chance to take it out and kind of put it through its paces. It has a A5 buffer system on it now, so it's longer, and that thing shoots stupid flat. I just love it.
Is that the one you're going to take to zombies?
No. No, I'm not going to take that to the zombie match. I will be taking most likely a 16-inch gun just to do with some of the things there, because they don't like pistols, and I don't want to hinge some things on some SBR stuff going there. So I'm going to run a full-length rifle when I go down there.
Well, you actually can't run a pistol. So a rifle, pistol.
I know, but I would rather. I do have a competition, like dedicated competition rifle.
No, you do.
I should use instead of the 11.5-inch gun I use beside my, for home defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So before we get into that, because nobody wants to hear, and they can tune in any week to hear me drone on about randomness of AR builds, buffer lengths, and barrel lengths, but they can't listen every night on our show about Yehuda. So Yehuda, I know that I have known you for a very long time, and
Yes.
we were talking about that this year at SHOT Show, and when we went through that stuff, I went, it has been like, I've known you for a hot minute. I think I met you at your first SHOT Show.
My first SHOT Show, that was 2018.
Yeah.
Was my first SHOT Show. But I believe you started following me beforehand.
Yep.
On socials because of my first book.
Yes. So for anyone who doesn't know, Yehuda is a established and best-selling
We've known each other for the better. I mean, almost best-selling author. Let's put it that way. Almost best-selling author.
Yeah.
Well, aren't most best-selling authors just that because their publishers went out and bought enough books to put them on the or to put the not saying you, but like a lot of your mass market, the mass market bestsellers are just.
I'm all self-published, so the success. So I just released my 10th book last week, and the success I've seen has been strictly through my dedication and, flying low to detect radar, just putting pedal to the metal and getting out there, introducing myself, building an entire network, building a social media presence, all through hard work. And that's how I've done it. My first 2 books are with a publishing company, actually, but it's a very small publishing house, and they use Amazon Publishing to publish the book. Next January, so January of 2027, the 10-year contract is up, and I get to take control of my full catalog. So all 10 books will be under my control again, which will be fantastic. But yes, I always joked that I was an almost best-selling author because my book Bullet Points, which I know Nick definitely knows that book. My book Bullet Points: Reasons Why America Should Embrace Common Sense Gun Law debuted at number 10 in political books. So on Amazon, sorry, let me say it debuted on number 10, which if you think about how many political books are out there, I'm very happy with debuting at number 10. So yeah, I always like to joke that I'm almost a best-selling author
on Amazon, by the way, which is
on Amazon.
Yeah, not strictly, but kind of leans liberal.
Yeah.
Maybe the company. No, I wouldn't say the shoppers do.
Oh, I didn't say the shoppers. It's just
because that's who's buying his stuff.
Right.
They're pretty good about keeping stuff open, especially their author to reader line or what's the word I'm looking for?
Pipeline
path. Like it's so nice that you can publish your stuff. So it's a lot of it. Is it more ebooks or is it?
No. All my books are paperback. Like I said, my book Bullet Points, which I don't know if you're familiar with Bullet Points.
I am. It's amazing
Joe
book.
and Garth, I don't know if you're familiar, but my book Bullet Points: Reasons Why America Should Embrace Common Sense Gun Law is 220 pages of blank pages.
Yeah.
So
Nick showed me that one last week.
Yeah, so I keep getting into trouble with that book, and I still do, and it's great. So that book is the only book that comes in paperback and hardcover.
I have a hardcover.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome! That's awesome. But yeah, all my other books are, like I said, are all self-published, and a majority of the sales do come from paperback rather than digital.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were just saying, or before you were doing that, you and I have known each other the better part of a decade, and you had written your first book, which was The ABCs of Guns. And that was when I first had kind of met up with Yehuda. He was showing that off, and he was working on his next book. And it was awesome to see how much you've grown, not just in like as an author and all of your books being published, but even like I'm going to say your social media brand coming out, and how much you've grown since the time I met you at a weird little bar/restaurant in a backside of a Vegas hotel.
I don't even remember where we met. Is that where we met? What backside of a bar?
Well, it was at a We Like Shooting meetup, and they moved it like 5 times.
Oh my God, yes. Holy cow, I remember that now. Oh. Yes. Good times. And you were with your wife?
Yep.
And I totally went blank on his name.
Mike Caparilli and Jacob.
It was with Jacob.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
good times.
Yeah, we were all there hanging out, and then that was the first time I got to meet you, and we hung out that night, and then kind of been friends ever since, keeping up online and chatting, and then just watching you explode onto the internet was amazing.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a very big uphill battle, but through the last 9 years, the people I've met, the friends I've made, I can't envision myself, and I know there are people, people in the firearms industry feel differently. A lot of people do, but SHOT Show to me, for example, is a vacation. I love, even though I'm working my butt off, SHOT Show is a vacation, and um, seeing friends that I've made over the last 9 years that I get to see once a year, meeting new people that have blossomed into real friendships. It just I can't envision myself in any other industry but the firearms industry.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, that's the best part about SHOT Show is the people. Like, that's going there to see. Like, I get to hang out with all my buddies that I rarely, only see a couple times a year.
Yes.
And that's what SHOT Show is. So,
100%.
Now when we got into that, why don't we do a little bit about how you got into your first book for anybody who's been living under a rock and doesn't know who you are and isn't familiar with you and your brand? How about you give us a little bit of backstory, and then
Sure.
then we'll move on.
Yeah. So my first book came out. I'd bought my first book came out in 2017, but I had shopped it around for the better part of 5.5 years. No publishing company wanted a book, or literary agent wanted to touch a book about guns and kids in a positive light. The book is called Safety On: An Introduction to the World of Firearms for Children, and it touches on all aspects of gun safety, specifically written for children, not for parents on how to talk to your child, but specifically for children. And I decided to write that book. My entire life, my parents took away the TV when I was 5, so I grew up being an avid reader, and I always enjoyed creative writing. I was a bit of a nerd and a loser, growing up writing my own poetry and short stories, and I was that nerd with a little notepad, always jotting down ideas. And I wrote my first book because my parents, even though I was married at the time and with a little baby, my parents found out that I owned a firearm. It was a Glock 19, and they went ballistic. I mean, full on Chernobyl nuclear meltdown. It was great. They didn't talk to me for weeks. And if they did, when they finally did start talking to me, I'm irresponsible. They can't believe they raised me better than that. And to shut my parents up, I decided I need to show them that I am a responsible gun owner, and not only that I'm a responsible gun owner, but that I need to educate my children on responsible firearms ownership, because, I'm not always going to be there for them as they grow up. And I wrote my first book. It took me a while to find a publisher. I was turned down by over 30 literary agents and 30 publishing companies. But after 5.5 years, I found a small publishing house who was willing to publish it. And that's kind of how the first book came out.
And was that just because it was a kid's book on responsibility of firearms, or what was the reason why so many guys shut you down on that?
I think it's because at the time I finished writing the book in 2011, started shopping it around in 2012, and that's when Sandy Hook happened.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
the literary world is notoriously left-leaning,
Yeah.
and to come out with a book that's not only pro-gun but a children's book specifically for children. I mean, I was like persona non grata in the literary world. I mean, no one wanted to even talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's why. Yeah.
Gotcha. That tracks then.
It's probably also had to have been a little bit of also being an unknown writer, unknown author, and taking on that hot button. Like that's it's too bad we don't have more people that are willing to say we'll take that chance on those 2A people, because there's a, and the thing is, like, you were doing something that should have been like exalted by people, because you're like, this is how you do it correctly. This is, teaching these kids how to do stuff rather than just finding it. And there's so much other dumb stuff that they'll push in front of them.
I read the book. I bought it for my daughter. Went through all these things. It's a better version of Eddie the Eagle without the NRA bullshit.
Right. And that was actually interesting because the first place when I needed to prove to my parents that, I'm not just a psycho with a gun, I did go to the NRA's website because back, this was 2012. The NRA was not the big evil organization that we all consider it to be these days. But I went to the Eddie Eagle program, and I was shocked that all the Eddie Eagle program taught you is what to do if you find the gun somewhere it's not supposed to be. And clearly there's so much more to gun safety. So I went to Amazon to look specifically for a book that I could use to educate my children. And I was shocked that, nothing, not even on Amazon. There was no books on the market for that kind of book. And like I said earlier, I always enjoyed creative writing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to write my own book, never thinking it would become published. And now 9 years later, I just released my 10th book.
Yeah.
What age group are they aimed at? Because obviously certain kids read it at different levels. Do you have different books for different age groups, or is it more mom and dad reading to them? How does that, or what kind of? That's
a great question. So the way I wrote it is that it's really for ages 6 to 10. Why I say that is kids start to learn to read when they're 5 or 6 years old. And parents are always, maybe instilling, don't touch a gun, don't do this when they're younger. But when they're able to read to themselves and really internalize the educational process of firearms ownership on their pace, the book is written that a 6-year-old who's just beginning to read can read it, but it's also not babyish to the point where a 10-year-old, will get turned off by it. I kind of think that once a kid turns 10, 11, I start training my kids at 8 years old. That's the deal I have with my wife. But, at 10, 11, that's when parents are more readily willing to let their kids handle guns and take them to the range. And that conversation that you have might be different than reading it. So my goal was that these kids between 6 to 10 start reading the book, get educated on gun safety, so that by the time they're ready to go to the range, they know the 4 cardinal rules. They know to always have the gun locked up. They know to always keep it clean, being respectful to the gun, what to do if you find a gun somewhere it's not supposed to be. I wanted all of that to be instilled before they actually went to the range and shot, for real for the first time.
No,
that's awesome. And like I said, doing it that kind of intermediate age range. Words are hard all of a sudden for some reason. Apparently my coffee's kicking in. But but you go through it. You also write like a couple of them you have that are probably a little headier than like an 8 to 10-year-old, because
yes,
27 words is a little bit more intensive than that.
It is, but at the same time, it's the way it was written that you can still read it at a young age and understand it. And I specifically wrote it that way. I specifically did not want to get it convoluted and made it hard for kids to understand. The book, 27 words, which is, if you don't know out there, 27 words is a breakdown of the 27 words of the Second Amendment for children. So what's a militia? What's well regulated? What's it mean to bear arms? But everything obviously is coming from the founding fathers' original intent of what the Second Amendment was supposed to be. So that book, so if you want to say, getting into things that might not be for kids, well, I've got a book, 10 Little Gun Grabbers, 10 Little Liberals, right? Like those books are more satire, and maybe kids won't understand them. They're still illustrated kids books, but there's that. I have 105 explosive gun jokes, which again, kids can easily read the book, but they just might not get all the jokes, right? Like my favorite joke from that book is, why didn't the college grad tell her parents how she paid for school? Right. And the answer is she was field stripping for money. Right. So like, right. Like a kid is not, they can read that, but they won't necessarily understand that joke.
I know adults that wouldn't understand that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's some context there that some people would miss.
Oh, 100%.
Is that an original you joke, or did you come across that?
So my partner who I wrote that book with is a brilliant comedic genius, and that joke we worked on together, but it was mostly him. He proposed it and then we tweaked it, but it mainly from him. But my 9-year-old, I mean, now my son's 16, but my 9-year-old at the time, he kept coming to me with these just horrific jokes. And I'm like, hey, bud, no, I don't. That one, you're almost there. You're almost there. And one day, and it was one of the proudest moments of my life being a dad. He comes in, he goes, okay, Dad, I got a good joke for you. I'm like, all right, buddy, let's hear it. He goes, why don't revolver shooters like parks? And I'm like, why? He goes, because they have slides. And I'm like, my 9-year-old came up with that joke. I'm like, that joke is going right into the book. Like,
it needs to be the first one.
Yeah, like no hesitation. I'm like, buddy, you just got in the book. Like,
that's awesome.
Nailed it.
He nailed it. I was so proud of him. I'm like, my heart was beaming with pride. It was fantastic.
Yep. So we've covered that, and I know that with the books and all those, like the books are all available on Amazon.
Yes.
If you just if you don't know how to spell Yehuda, search for Safety On and look it up, and it'll pop up.
And if any of your followers want signed copies of my books, they can go to thepewpewjew.com.
Yes.
Can I suggest a sequel to Safety On is Safety Off when we're going to fight the government?
So funny story about that, and I'll send the image to Nick after, and he can share it with you guys. I actually am in the middle of writing, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to write in my life, because there's no way Dr. Seuss was not high as a freaking kite when he was writing his books. But I actually am working on a book called Yankee Doodle and His Pew Pew Crew, about Yankee Doodle taking on the Swamp Dingers and the Three Letter Blokes. So I am currently working on that book, but I'm really thinking about taking up cocaine or something so that I can finish the book.
Probably LSD. I think LSD is good.
Oh, LSD, that's the one. Thank you. LSD is the one that I need to take up, not cocaine.
You might write 6 books if you're doing cocaine, but I don't know.
Exactly.
That's a whole different type of book. That's that's more of the action sequence.
Well, whatever it is, it'll have more words in it than bullet points.
Which is still such a great book.
That book still gets me in trouble. It's great.
Yeah, it is awesome to do that. And I see Dirt Racer over in the comments says I'm leaning towards Coke at this point because it would probably be a cheaper habit. But
I know nothing about drugs at all. I have never smoked a thing in my life. I've never even smoked a hookah. My lungs are freaking pink. So I know nothing about recreational drug use at all. I am a freaking Boy Scout when it comes to that.
Hey, that's fine. But I also tell people to get their kids involved in shooting at a young age, because then they'll be too broke to try drugs. And,
exactly.
As you go through those, because you're always out looking for the next thing and trying to find parts, kind of like grips for an AR. And the unique feature of AR grips is they're machined from a solid block of G10, especially the ones from VZ. VZ grips are great because they're made from a solid block of G10, and G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard slim palm cell safety guts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures, 27 colors are available, and there is one coupon code that is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that code is AR-15 pod 15. And the guys in the chat are going to drink with Dr. Seuss. But No. So after you got into writing, I know that the next, I'm going to call it phase of all this stuff that you went into, you started to get very involved in advocacy.
Yeah, so the way I got involved in advocacy is a really funny story. When I wrote my first book, I was just planning on being a one and done author, just to say, hey, I am a published author, and that is freaking cool. And I was, at the time that book came out, I was trying hard to reach out to some of the bigger names in the firearms industry, trying to get blurbs and trying to get God, what's the word I'm thinking of? Endorsements for my book. And I was at a USCCA event, and Alan Gottlieb of the Second Amendment Foundation was there. And I walked up to him, and this was 4 months after my first book came out. I mean, this is like literally before I met you, Nick. It was April. It was April of 2017, and I walked up to Alan Gottlieb, and I was like, "Oh, Mr. Gottlieb, this is my book. I would love to get your endorsement, maybe a quick blurb that I can use." And he's like, "Yeah, not a problem." And he looked through the book quickly. He goes, "Oh, this is fantastic. I love it." He goes, "You're a Jew, you're an Orthodox Jew. You write books on firearms for kids. I want people to know your story. Do you want to speak at the Gun Rights Policy Conference?" And one thing you have to know about me is that before my first book was released, I was a behind the scenes guy. At my own wedding, I had the people lower the platform that my wife and I were sitting on during dinner, so I wouldn't be so like like limelight on me. Like, I hate being in the limelight. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I haven't spoken publicly since my bar mitzvah. It's been 25 years, and I hate being in front of people. But hey, it's the Gun Rights Policy Conference. How many people can be there? Maybe 50 people. I will cowboy up for 50 people. So I told Alan, I'm like, absolutely, I'm honored to speak at the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Let me just ask, how many people usually show up? He goes, about 300 or 400. And I turned white as a ghost, like literally white as a ghost. I came home. I walked through the door. My wife is like, "Are you okay? Are you gonna pass out? Do you need like orange juice?" Or like, she was freaking out because it looked like I'm like, I think I screwed up. And I opened up my speech, and it was so terrifying. I opened up my speech thanking the one person who truly got me into Second Amendment advocacy. And I said, while he's not here in the audience today, I want to publicly thank Barack Obama for getting me into Second Amendment advocacy. And at the time, I wasn't really doing any advocacy. I just, Gun Rights Policy Conference was like the first thing. And then after that, people just came up to me, and podcasts and radio and TV. And I was being touted as a gun safety expert. I'm like, I'm no gun safety expert. I just like wrote a children's book, and that's about it. But little by little, people were calling me, asking my opinion on things, and putting me on podcasts, and what's the Jewish opinion. And one thing led to another. And yeah, it's that's it.
No, that's awesome. And I know something about serendipiting your way into like how did it record scratch? Yep, that's me. You might be wondering how I ended up here.
Exactly. So yeah, it's a funny story, because I mean, I think like in 2 hours before my speech, I was in the bathroom for like 2 straight hours. Like I was so terrified to publicly speak. And now people call me and they're like, "Hey, our guest canceled on our podcast. Can you make it on in like 10 minutes?" And I'm like, "Sure." And they're like, "Do you want to know the topics?" I'm like, "I don't even care." Like I'm very secure in what I know and what I believe. So I'm easy, like, just put me on, I'll speak publicly. I'll be on the panel. Just tell me when to be there, and I'll show up.
Yeah. So no, that's awesome. And then I know with that, if anybody who doesn't follow you on social media, or well, I shouldn't say just in social media, because obviously, as we said, we've known each other the better part of a decade. And I've seen you grow in advocacy and kind of go through all these things and still kind of pop up and be like, hey, what's going on? And I know before I've gotten weird looks coming up to you when it's like we're both excited to talk to each other because they're like, who is this ogre in a cowboy hat that is coming up to talk to you?
And this short little Jew. Yeah, it's, one thing so I have a group of friends that I'm super close with, and they have standing orders to beat the living crap out of me if they see me getting any of the fame or notoriety, or if they see anything getting to my head and becoming egotistical, they have full permission to throw me on the ground and just beat me. And it keeps me humble, it keeps me grounded, and it allows me to really be myself and not be something that I'm not. It allows me to be the fun loving, carefree guy. In SHOT Show, like, to make case in point, the company I now work for, called the Legion's Project Foundation, their director of outreach, they were at SHOT Show this year, and our director of operations is a 21-year Army veteran, sniper in AMU. I love this guy like he was one of my own brothers. And I turned to him and the rest of the team, 4 of us that were going to SHOT Show, and I said, guys, here's the deal. Luis, I know you were a Ranger for 21 years. Guys, 2 of the other guys are like MMA fighters. I'm like, I know you guys are all in better shape than I am, but you better be able to keep up with me at SHOT Show. and they literally couldn't keep up with me.
They were not prepared for the miles.
They weren't prepared for me being in like the SHOT Show environment, which again is my happy place. It's my vacation spot. It's where I can completely be myself, and knowing that I have friends who are keeping me in check and not letting that ego get out of hand, just is it allows me to be who Nick. The guy who will give you a big hug and not care, I'm able to be me, and I love it.
Oh no, and so do I. That's one of the things I love so much about SHOT Show. But one of the others, what I was getting into is it's like, yeah, here's this ogre that comes up and talks to you, and it's, like, hey, who's this guy? Because again, like you said, you're a short Jew, and it's like, hey, is this giant cowboy guy coming up? But we've had a lot of conversations and gotten into things. Part of it's because of your faith. And I know that here in the comments from Rumble, we have a question from, I'm not going to read all that, but Uper906. Question. I know Jewish ideological views for many Jewish rabbis in the community, and I'm not sure if you are currently practicing Judaism or if you are or did get any pushback from the Jewish community.
Yeah, great question. So firsthand, I am 100% practicing. I'm an Orthodox Jew. I shut down for the Sabbath. I miss a lot of really fun events because it's the Sabbath. I eat kosher, strictly eat kosher. So I am practicing. And in terms of getting pushback, when my first book came out, and even before my first book, people didn't see the writing on the wall. And it's not that I got pushback necessarily. I just got called, you're a gun nut, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy, nothing like the Holocaust can ever happen in America. I'm like, okay, you guys can say all you want when you're ready to buy a gun. Let me know.
How can you say that after watching it happen in Europe? Like,
you're saying, how can you say the Holocaust?
No, not you,
happen?
But the people that were saying that to you. Like, how could you say that can't happen? Like, you guys saw it happen to your own people.
Well, I think it's more along the lines of that you get so complacent in a place like America that really is the greatest country, so that, oh no, there's a lot of people in America that don't like Jews, and that's fine because we have that First Amendment right. Mm-hmm. So I think it's more along the lines of they just become complacent and thinking, oh, America is this magical place that nothing bad will ever happen. Whereas, at the time it was like, oh, I can definitely see the Democrats putting us in, concentration camps, and now I can see the likes of Tucker and Candace putting us in concentration camps too. So That said, to answer your question, I got pushback in ways of, people calling me a gun nut, a conspiracy theorist, and all these other things like that. Up until October of 2023. So, after October 7th, a lot of things changed. All these people that used to call me names called me up. Hey, I think we're ready to buy a gun. We see what's happening. Can you take us? And it's something that I tell all my friends who, whenever I'm on a podcast, like if you can give someone, one piece of information takeaway regarding guns, what would it be? And I always tell them, like, if you're going to be someone who's educating and training, you need to check the ego at the door. And no matter what no matter what they did to wrong you, being called every name under the book, those same people came to me and I got them trained. I got them comfortable with firearms. They bought their guns. They go to the range and they love it now. And once they love it, now I give them a hard time from, hey, you guys, remember when you called me a gun nut and a conspiracy theorist, and now you are knocking on my door asking to train you? I'm like, yeah, well, you guys suck, but I'm a great person. So, I'll do fun stuff like that with them now, but it's checking your ego at the door. And so I did get pushback, to answer your question, but not as much pushback as I thought I would get. So
yeah, I also on screen here for anybody viewing live, I pulled up one of your shirts that's available on the pewpewjew.com, and it's people with ARs don't get in cattle cars. And
oh yeah.
Yeah, Nick, he's got Hawaiian shirts on his site too, because I'm looking at one right now.
That shirt, the people with AR shirt, got me in more trouble, and I got more pushback with that shirt than I did with any of my books.
I 100% believe that. And
people ask me like, "Oh, you're making money off the lives of Holocaust victims." I'm like, no, I am educating the masses to understand that the one thing protecting us from tyranny is an AR-15 and rifles and guns. That's my message. If you can read it however you want to read it, but that's really what it comes down to. So
it's more of educating people on the history of they had their guns taken away before they were told to get in the cattle cars.
Absolutely. So, the Nuremberg laws.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, people who don't understand history are bound to repeat it. And that's why, like, one of the reasons why I'm such a huge history nut, and like my daughter and I will sit down and she'll ask me like, Dad, tell me about history. And I'm like, kid, that's a broad topic to start with me. But when we go through, like I said, I've seen you do that and grow into doing national level advocacy. You are down. I don't know if you tell everybody where you're at, but I've seen you doing a lot of stuff in Texas. And
well, I'm in Texas. I live in Texas. Very, very proud, because originally from Los Angeles. So I lived in LA for 30 years before I moved to Texas almost 12 years ago. So yeah. Yep. And you're welcome, Uper 906.
Yep. But I know that, because I've seen you doing that, where you've actually stood out and kind of put your money where your mouth is with some of the stuff about like standing up for defense of you and your people. I know that you have one specific AR that is kind of your favorite.
I do.
And I can find a picture of it.
Find a picture of it. That AR has a very special place because it was gifted to me by Alan West. So Alan, I was on his show and we were talking afterwards. He's like, "Hey, do you want to come shoot with me in 2 weeks?" And I'm like, "Holy crap, Alan West is asking me to come shoot with him." That's a absolute yes every single time. And I got to the range and the owner of Watchtower Firearms was there, and they gave me a Type 15, and I'll wait for you to show it off when you find the picture. And the funny thing is, 6 months later, I shot the AR a few times, and I happened to be in Houston, and I went to stop by Watchtower's offices to talk with the owner, and he says to me, "Hey, how do you like your rifle?" I'm like, "Oh, it's one of the flattest rifles I've ever shot. I love it." He goes, "Wait, you shoot the rifle?" And I'm like, "Was I not supposed to?" He's like, "Well, it's supposed to be." But I not shoot it? And he goes, "You know what? This is what we'll do." He goes, "This is what we're gonna do. You go and put that rifle back on as a showpiece." We go to the back of the factory, and he's like, "Hey, John," I think the guy's name was John, and I swear to God, this like little leprechaun, like freaking Oompa Loompa, popped out of nowhere. I thought he was gonna break out into song, and the owner of Watchtower was like, "Hey, build him the exact rifle that we gave him, just in whatever color he wants." So they built me the exact rifle so that I can actually have a usable rifle, so I don't ruin the other rifle. So it's awesome, and it's honestly one of the flattest rifles I've ever shot. It's kind of crazy. I have 7-8 different ARs, and at the end of the day, that one is going to probably be my go-to if the zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah, I know that I shouldn't say anymore. I'm always like, "Oh, this was just the other day," and I'm like, "It was probably several years ago. You actually were using this one, because it is custom. It's very distinct to stand out and kind of stand and do some security using it." And I recall you having that after.
So this is here, Nick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to message you on Facebook picture of the rifle. That way you could
yeah, I'm actively trying to. Oh, here we go. I have a picture of it from Instagram. Oh, that's a video from Instagram. The video of you shooting it on Instagram.
Okay.
And I will just do this quick because I can pull this up for everyone doing it. And this is great radio for everyone not watching live.
Yes.
And
but
Garth, thank you, Garth.
Absolutely, buddy.
I appreciate it. Just popped up.
I got to get me some of those button downs, man. They're cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So this rifle that goes through, I know that they have a picture of him shooting it, and a video rather, because the thumbnail was of them holding the rifle.
So I did just message you on Facebook. So if you want to post a picture,
you just pause it.
So it's basically a battle-worn Israeli flag, and
that's cool.
I get, every time I post a picture of it, I get so much hate from people like, "Oh, so you are an Israeli shill. Why don't you have an American painted flag?" I'm like, "Why don't you give me an American painted AR-15, and I'll gladly shoot that too." This was a gift from Alan West. I'm not going to shy away from that. So yeah, it is a really, really special rifle. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you can't. The pictures just don't do it justice. But it's a really fun. It's just a well done, well made gun. So,
no, it's super cool. I dig that.
Yeah. No, so that is awesome to see. And then I know you've been a shooter for a long time. I shouldn't say a long time, but you got into this and then got into the AR world. And then I was like, "Hey, we haven't talked to you in a while, so we need to have you on the show." So you came on. And earlier today, we have a lot to talk about tonight. And in this, we've talked about the history and nothing about today's events, which is as we go through, or drawing up towards, through the history and through all the fun stuff, we always start to close out, I say the same thing at the end of every show. And that is that you need to expect a self-rescue. And I'm not saying that because we're going to close out the show, and we always talk about the importance of training and medical training specifically. And with some of the events we've seen today, like it is very much so a time, if you haven't got any type of training, you need to go out and start looking for it, especially medical training, because even if you can't carry a gun, you can. I've yet to be anywhere that hasn't allowed me to carry a tourniquet.
Right.
And, so I've been in a lot of non-possessive, environments. But if you're looking for a way to carry some of those things, you should look at Klecker Tactical. Klecker Tactical, if you're in need of reliable custom Kydex holster, Klecker Tactical is your one-stop shop using premium USA source materials. Klecker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles and colors, along with light and laser options. Whether you're in law enforcement, or a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust that Klecker Tactical will provide every firearm owner has access to top-tier personalized holsters, as well as quality custom products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off at KleckerTactical.com. So as we move through here, and I see that in the chat that Gideon Optics is here, and that is Bob.
Shoot, where is it? Where did I put? Oh, right here. Speaking of, I got their alpha that I'm going to be putting on a gun soon. So I pretty much run Gideon Optics a lot. So
we're not saying we're exclusive to them, but we're pretty damn close ourselves.
Fair enough. Yeah,
we run a lot of Gideon as well. So, and if you come to SHOT Show and hang out with me and maybe Bob, you can have the world's worst tour of the MGM properties of Las Vegas. And I will be your tour guide.
Bob is the optics fairy.
Anyways, I know we're going to get into this. This is a little bit headier of a topic. I didn't mean for that to roll into an ad read, but it kind of worked. So,
perfect.
No. So with the events that happened today, for anybody who isn't aware, there were actually 2 different attacks today in America.
But yes, 2 different attacks in America, but there was a attack at a synagogue in Norway as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I hadn't followed the one in Norway, but I was definitely tracking the 2 different ones here in the U.S. And they were not. There was one synagogue attacked in Michigan.
Yep.
And then there was another attack at a college in Virginia. And I was not aware of the attack in Norway. And then there was also a refueler shot down or went down in Iraq.
Yes.
So, it has been a day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It has been my feed has been blowing up. Thank God the one in Michigan ended with the assailant, and I haven't seen anything. I did see something about assailant. He was a Muslim, of course. He was the only one killed. Thank God. There was over 140 kids at the school because it's a synagogue / like daycare, not daycare, synagogue / school for kids. So there was, I believe, over 140 kids, and thank God the only person killed was the assailant. And I heard that the officer who engaged with the killer, or I can't call him a killer because he didn't kill anyone, but the assailant actually got injured, but nothing too serious. So
yeah, it is sickening to see those things. So I teach, I have a training company. I teach concealed carry classes. Everybody here has heard me talked about those things, but I've said that no longer are houses of worship, they're soft targets. It's not a safe place. It's used to be like, oh, this is where we go, and nobody would ever think about those types of things happening. And unfortunately, those are places that we have to look at as we have to start hardening some of these places because they are not a safe place to be because they're seen as a soft target by people who wish to do harm.
100%. There's no question about that. There are a lot of synagogues around the world. I mean, literally the world at this point, who truly do care and do have armed security. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it's, and this is going to come out bad, but whatever. A lot of times it's $25 hour rent-a-cops. And that doesn't really give me a lot of, I can't think of the right word. I apologize.
Like solace and faith.
Yeah, that my kids or me inside the synagogue will be protected. Now, I of course carry everywhere I go, including the synagogue. But it's something that I'm happy to see, though. There's more armed security across the world at synagogues, and not just synagogues. I mean, at this point, there's a war on Western culture. So, the organization I work for, Allegiance Project Foundation, was actually founded by this guy, Matthew Easter, because his wife is a fourth grade teacher. And the goal of what our organization does, and this is a abridged Cliff Notes version, but we basically hire combat veterans who are transitioning out of the military and put them in schools and synagogues and churches as security. So it's people who have seen combat, who have been in gunfights, who are not going to, pull a Uvalde on the situation and tuck tail and run. It's something that I'm so passionate about, arming people, that I joined an organization that literally helps and secures people.
And that is awesome. I know that we have been talking. You can expect to hear more from that organization from us.
Heck yeah.
In the future. But yeah, so I'm excited for that. And it is unfortunate. I know that we said we had a lot to talk about, but that is, I think, the biggest thing that we can always say is remember when we go through that. I hate saying that because I realize that's like my new is going through this, but no matter where you are, the only person that is 100% responsible for your safety is you. Here in the United States, we have laws where quite literally the police have no duty to protect you. That is a Supreme Court case and has been a ruling. They're not required to put themselves into danger to protect you. And I'm not saying that because I'm anti-cop or anything like that. It is definitely something people need to understand. The only person who is responsible for your safety is you. So you need to take ownership of that, especially for you and your family and anyone else that you love and care for. So getting training, getting medical training, all of those things are incredibly important, at least to me.
Speaking of medical training, there's a company based out of Israel, actually. I have it right here. They're called X-Medics. I don't know if you saw this guy at SHOT, but basically it's a tourniquet automation kit. So you take it, wrap it around the arm, pull the strap, press a button, and it constricts for you. So it does it so what normally takes, you put, if you're really fast at a tourniquet, right, to get everything down is what, 30 seconds, maybe, right?
I think the last medical class I had at Guards, they said, I think the recommendation is a minute, but they're like, if you need to be shooting for 30 to 20.
Right. So sorry. So with this, it's so cool because literally it already comes with a whole, with a loop. So you just put the loop on, tighten it once, press a button, and within 15 seconds, it will be constricted enough to stop the blood flow. So what's amazing about that is if you're actually in a gun battle, within literally within 5-6 seconds, you're back to engage the enemy. You don't have to sit there trying to get it on. And it's crazy because
that's awesome. I'm going to say they are expensive, But
They 100%. They are expensive. There's no question about that. And I totally understand. I probably would not have bought one if the guy wasn't Israeli and followed me and wanted to send me a bunch of them. So I probably would not have bought them because they are a little, out of my league. But it's something that I carry with me on my kit, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I carry a tourniquet that is not, or I carry several, like especially in my vehicle or anything like that. I carry a tourniquet that has gotten some hate, but I will always carry one. Because like obviously I carry the proper cat tourniquets and all that, but I also carry a RATS tourniquet,
Ooh.
which people go, why are you carrying that? Because of two things: kids and dogs. Because you can use it, it gets smaller and is easy to employ on canine and on small children.
Yeah.
Where sometimes the windlass doesn't spin all the way around, so it is easier to use in those cases. So tools have a purpose. It's not the best tool for the job for everything, but I carry those on my kit as well as a cat just because of coming up on those things as a necessity where you might need something like that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But do we got anything else that you want to get into tonight, Yehuda, before we start to sign off for the evening, or?
Check out my website, thepewpewjew.com. Give me a follow at the Pew Pew Jew. I did just release my latest book. I don't know, if you saw it yet, but for those that are familiar with the famous children's book, Goodnight Moon, I wrote Goodnight Gun Store. And it's freaking awesome. So buy my books, support my gun habit, buy my merchandise, support my gun habit, and I appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you so much for coming on. I know that I appreciate it because I always enjoy talking to you pretty much any chance I get. And I know we'll be looking forward to seeing you this summer because I'm sure we'll run into you at another event, maybe Goals. Or,
yes, I am really excited about Goals this year. I don't think anything's set in stone, although they did agree to it and they love the idea. So you know how Goals always has like that kids corner, with like the Nerf guns and stuff to do. So I've been in talks with GOA, and I think we're actually going to do a book reading about gun safety for children and the history of the Second Amendment for children, and they're going to do a book reading with the author. So
that's awesome.
I'm really excited because originally they wanted me to speak. Now they might want me to speak as well, which I'm happy to do. But I am just stoked that they're like, yeah, we love that idea. Let's do a book reading get families there, sit around. Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Well, and if you ever want someone to do an audiobook version, just let me know. And I work for Ammo.
Well, let's talk because I actually do have, my Safety On book, my 27 words book. I definitely would like to do an audio version.
Yeah. Too easy. We could do that. But again, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, you can find him. Follow him at the Pew Pew Jew everywhere. I think that's the easiest way to find it. If you Google the Pew Pew Jew, you will find our friend Yehuda.
Absolutely.
Garth, you got anything else you want to add tonight?
Yeah, I suppose before we get there, you guys better check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co for all your patch going needs, because we have the Patch of the Month Club. It is awesome. Go join it. Get your patches because you joined the Patch of the Month Club. So please do that. They have mouse pads as well, or cleaning mats, but mouse pads are pretty sweet too. I love mine. So go check those guys out at Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co.
Yep. Joe, do you got anything to add tonight?
No, I'll just follow up. Go check out Yehuda. Again, you can find his stuff on Amazon, his website. Like, share. He's doing what I say every to close every show. Just be an advocate for the Second Amendment and what we can, we can only do so much, but the more vocal we are, the more we can beat the algorithms, and he's doing a great thing. So go out there and support him. Again, support us, the website, AR-15podcast.com, all of our socials, and then anybody else in the 2A community that you see or like, share their stuff. If you see something interesting, someone's got like 3 followers, share that stuff, like their stuff so that others can see it. Share it to us. We'll spread that stuff too if it's a good message, especially from up and coming people or smaller influencers. So,
well, like there's in the chat tonight, we have almost the entire cast of a new podcast that came out, and
yes.
it's Rimfire Radio.
Those guys are jerks, man. They've ignited my passion for 22 all over again, and I'm gonna go heavy.
Well, if they're still around in the chat, tell them I'm happy to come on their show, which means I'll boost it.
Yeah. So AR Drew says, "Yep, they are all there. Every one of them is in the chat as well." And so, guys, you can reach out to Yehuda. But we have, so those guys are here. We have one of the hosts of that damn commie rifle show,
That other show,
Kick 7 Radio, and he's also a co-host on Let's Go Hunt. And everyone go out, no matter what we're doing in shooting sports, get involved in guns, get involved in gun advocacy. Realize that AKs are the guns of communists because they're supported by Cobra, and that is wrong because we're Americans, so go Joe. And guys, as we go through or close out tonight, I just want to say you all know what I'm going to go through now. Guys, no matter what, remember, you are your own first responder. No one is coming to save you. Go out, get training, get medical training. Expect to self-rescue. But most importantly, you guys out there, stay safe and stay armed.